Definitely go slow.
Oh, my rear tire is in the air, dude.
Yeah. So our right rear tire is in the air, just like the other one. Oh yeah, it's even more in the air now.
Ooh, doggy!
It looks like it's about between 6 and 8 inches off the ground here. Howdy folks, Nathan here, coming at you from the Rocky Mountains, and I'm driving TFL's brand new, recently acquired 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee Trailhawk. This is a fantastic off-road vehicle, a lot of fun to drive, and it has a big V8. But Andre says he's got something that's not a Jeep that will compete against this, and he says up and down, oh no, this is something that, and indeed here he is. That's a Jeep, bro.
Nathan!
A Jeep.
Nathan, I brought the newest vehicle, the Grand Wagoneer, to this party.
It's a really pretty Jeep.
It's not a Jeep. Do you see Jeep anywhere? Wagoneer right there.
At the end of this video, I'm going to show you how much of a Jeep it truly is.
But dude, both have V8s. How about we go up Tombstone Hill and figure out what's what?
This vehicle suits me. It in terms of everything else that we have, this kind of checks off all the boxes.
Hold on, let's use low, because I like low.
All right, and we're in our maximum setting because we do have the air suspension.
What about sand? Let's try sand, because we're hitting this loose section.
Okay.
Is that good?
It's overkill, but okay.
Okay.
Totally overkill. Now, we know that this is not challenging for this type of vehicle, but the question really is, how's the ride comfort and the overall, stability going up and over these obstacles? And I think that is something that we should keep in mind.
And also maneuverability, right? All those things.
Well, we already know this is more maneuverable. Come on, man. That Wagoneer is like the size of a top.
You will see how good it is.
You'll see how they get it. All right, fine. There's a point to it, though. I mean, am I right in saying that it is built on a truck frame?
It is.
This is not.
Okay.
This is basically a car that can do off-roading.
Yeah, so this is unibody, this is independent suspension, but the big truck also has independent suspension all the way around.
Right, and it's the size of a GMC Yukon. And I'm not wrong, it is.
Or maybe a little bit bigger.
Maybe even bigger. It's huge, and it's heavy. It weighs as much as a pickup truck. This doesn't. So, I mean, there's some significant differences between them just in terms of the build. So, it is a Jeep, even though you deny it's not. And the fact is that its off-road capability in some ways can be hampered by its weight, and I'm curious to see whether or not that actually happens on this. Tires. We're currently testing these, which are Pirelli Scorpion AS Plus 3s. They're not off-road tires, they're all-season mud and snow tires. But on this hill, I suspect it won't struggle. So there's another thing I wanted to bring up about your extraordinary luxury vehicle, and it is extraordinary. I think it's amazing.
It's a Grand Wagoneer, I'll have you know. Okay.
Okay, if you say so. It's Jeep in their names. I'm sorry.
It's not
Grand Wagoneer
on
their name.
Jeep.
Stellantis in their names.
Yes.
Yeah. How silly of me. That vehicle, you sit on top of something, so you're way up in the air.
Right.
Yeah. Even when it's at its lowest suspension setting, this one you sit in the vehicle. Once again, that is really a truck, and this is really a car by comparison.
All right, well, let me run this easy side in the Grand Wagoneer, and I'll just show you.
Okay. Folks, it's a tale of two V8s.
And in my case, it's a big boy. 6.4 liters of displacement. Why can't every SUV and truck have one of these?
Because they want to get good mileage?
No, 471 horsepower, 455 pound-feet of torque, an 8-speed automatic, and sound. Mwah!
All right, well, I'll give it to him. He puts out more power and more torque, but this 5.7 liter Hemi has been next to bulletproof. Really, really good reports about its reliability. It's still hooked up to an 8-speed automatic transmission and one of the most sophisticated four-wheel drive systems out there.
Nathan, check this out. I'm walking up to my Grand Wagoneer. I have a key in my pocket. I go like this. The step already opens up and I climb in. By the way, these side steps are actually useful, huge. It's like a Mercedes Maybach here. Being in the new Grand Wagoneer is an experience, and it's of course starts with pushing the engine start button, which is designed, and it sits here recessed on a wooden piece of the dashboard. Just take a look at this. Grand Wagoneer digital gauge cluster. And then there's the center stack. First of all, there's my secret compartment here. Yes, feel like James Bond. There's a wireless charger here. But of course, this screen also helps me control my massage, my climate control system, the rear control system. Actually, it's very easy to understand. Some other vehicles these days, have kind of confusing buttons, but I find this actually really easy to use. I can also do screen off. My seat adjustments are actually here on the door, and I can control my headrest, my seat back, my bottom cushion, and right here I can also control my massage. I don't think that Grand Cherokee has anything close to this. And then take a look at this, premium stereo system Macintosh. Amazing. The center console also has many hidden cubbies. First of all, there's this, either for your phone or your wallet maybe. And then I do have a secret safe. All right, so let me set up my Grand Wagoneer. I'm gonna go into neutral. I'm gonna select 4 low. One complaint I have here, well, first of all, the great thing is 4 low engages very easily. But my complaint, this is gloss black, and at certain angles I have reflections and I can sometimes not see all of the settings here. This is my hill descent control. Right there comes red. And this is my suspension height control, where I can lower it or raise it. And of course, I'm going to be in my highest suspension setting. And over here on this side is my drive mode selector. I'm going to do the easy side in sand and mud, and then the hard section in rock mode. Take a look at this. I've got many different screens here. My suspension settings, my gauges, my RPM, my speed, my off-road gauges, the center diff is locked, the rear is locked because I'm in for low as well, my articulation, everything is displayed. In my center stack, I also have access to my camera views, I have reverse cams, and also in the front, 360 degree view as well. This is quite helpful because this vehicle is so large, but of course depth perception is still an issue like with any camera.
All right, dude, so I'm lining up for the easy side, and I'm in 4 low. I'm in my highest air suspension settings. I've got all the good stuff. Oh, you know what? I'm in sand and mud, which should be perfect for this.
So really the whole thing here is that whether or not Stellantis, when they built this, selected the right tire for this thing to go over anything.
All right, so this is a Grand Wagoneer. There's also the Wagoneer line, right, which is a little bit more affordable. I mean, these are all luxury machines that are fighting against the likes of Lincoln, Lexus, Mercedes, Range Rover. I can go on.
And Chevy and Ford.
Did you notice that I just went over that articulation section?
No, actually, I didn't notice. I didn't notice.
It's like...
Did you really go over it?
It's like a boat.
This thing,
it's like it just goes.
It's floating off road. Well, they're really competing. In my mind, they're competing with Range Rover. You know
I
what
think
I mean?
so.
And they
especially at the higher end of the Grand Wagoneer.
That's precisely it. So they went for both. The ride suspension off-road setup. That's part of it.
Ooh. A little lost traction.
A tiny bit. I mean, maybe it's because this thing weighs so much.
Let me do this.
Okay, so we stopped, and now you're going to accelerate. Just a little, not even a half a turn of the tire. So it's doing really well on an area that should actually be a little bit challenging for something this heavy with street tires.
Well, dude, you're right. I mean, I checked the payload sticker and the gross vehicle weight rating. I always do that.
Yeah, of course I do.
And this vehicle weighs approximately 6,300 pounds.
6,300 pounds. So basically a pickup truck. And then on top of that, it has this really, really heavy engine.
Yes, but also very, very stout frame from the Ram 1500.
I'm not putting the frame down at all. This thing is so isolated and just I can't even tell what the hell we're going over half the time.
Yeah, and of course they modified the suspension because it's independent rear. The Ram 1500 does not currently offer that.
And because of that, they had to make modifications, of course, to the frame. So we're not talking about the exact same frame. We're talking about a modified
Exactly, but
frame.
it's a stout thing, and the air suspension they designed, it's a next generation system.
Oh my goodness, there's another Trailhawk behind me. What is this, a Trailhawk convention? But I don't need that. On this Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer, for Series 1 at least, this is a 20-inch wheel. It's a Bridgestone Dueler HL tire, the Alenza, so it's not super aggressive, but I hope it should be good enough for this mountain.
Ooh, the ABS is starting to work overtime.
I would probably consider using hill descent control, if not here, then maybe later.
Let's try that.
Now you just remember,
So-
you don't touch the brake.
No, my feet are off. I am steering.
And I think you can control it.
This is 0.6 miles per hour, which actually I'm comfortable with. This is a good speed.
This is my top speed for walking.
On this hill.
Just in general. Come on, you know I'm slow.
So dude, easy side was once again easy peasy. I was actually impressed. I don't know, in the top suspension setting in the Grand Cherokee, it's kind of a little bit harsh. In the top setting here, I still feel like it's cushy enough.
So off camera, I did take this over some washboard.
What?
I did, and it did remarkably well. In fact, I cannot recall a vehicle that was more suited for washboard surfaces than this one. And it has giant 20-inch wheels, which suck for off-roading and suck for cushioning, right? But they still slam them on here, and they work because the suspension is so dialed in for relaxed driving. Now, what I am curious about, though, is how this will handle a slightly more challenging off-road thing, because we are worried about approach and we are worried about breakover,
Yes,
because this thing is long.
it is. So why don't you show me how you can do it in the Grand Cherokee, and then I'll show you what this puppy can do.
You gonna show me what's up?
Well, Jeep fans, I do have bad news for you, and it has to do with these wheels. If you wanted these sweet-looking, massive 20-inch wheels and to slam them onto your Grand Cherokee, you can't, because 6-bolt, basically truck, 5-bolt, not truck.
6 bolts is better, dude, heavy duty.
Shut up.
So you have air suspension, right? And we gotta go in the highest setting. For some reason it lowered us to off-road 1. We need to be in off-road 2.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, you know what? We're doing rock crawling now, so let's switch to rock.
Yeah.
Are you ready to rock?
Honestly, auto would handle all of these, and I could be in high, and it would handle all of these, no problem.
Why do you have to show off like this?
I'm not showing off, I'm just telling you what it can do. There's a big difference. This is the vehicle. This isn't me. This isn't about the driver. This is what the vehicle can do. And in this case, I'm just gonna take it up nice and slow. You tell me what the hardest line you think is, and this thing will go up and over it with no problem.
Okay, I'll point you. It's usually kind of straight up the middle, the hard side, and the big articulation sections, which I think your little tiny wheels and your little suspension, you may have to hang a wheel or something.
It actually could lift a wheel. It's possible. That's one spot where I've lifted wheels in other vehicles before, that's for sure. But it's a funny thing, because there's a lot of people out there who still say that this is a truck, and some say it's an SUV, and some say it's a crossover.
Some say it's a Jeep.
And some say it's a Jeep. That's right. Well done.
Okay.
But I mean, you think about it, and they did the message get lost when they were building this. And Tommy recently did a video with this vehicle up against his 2001 Grand Cherokee.
It's a classic.
Right, and then the brand new one, which is actually really similar to this one.
Yeah.
I mean, they really do share a lot of components.
So this is the hardest line. I mean, I like your line.
Yeah, this is about as hard as it gets on this thing. Seriously, it's not an issue.
Ooh.
I lost traction for 1/8 of a second.
What did you do?
I felt one of the
Okay,
tires scramble.
but you're still moving nicely.
Yeah. Once again, this is not even breathing hard. And that's the thing. This has the 5.7 liter V8. Good old Hemi. Plenty of low end torque.
That's nothing, dude. I have 6.4 liters.
You do indeed, but power to weight ratio favors this vehicle over yours, because yours weighs as much as a small planet. I mean, it's an awesome vehicle. I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but the fact is that it's a very heavy vehicle.
It is. But I don't care.
I know you don't. All right, should we go down?
Yeah, let's try going down.
Here, we'll
To match the perfect trail to your perfect rig, check out onxoffroad.com. You can download offline maps so you know exactly what to expect when you're out here on the trail. Use the link below for a TFL discount.
You know, my concern in the big Grand Wagoneer is really kind of my ground clearance and my big chin.
Your breakover angle, I think, would be my biggest concern. That thing is really long. It's like a limo, but it lifts up really high. I think it goes, what, over 11 inches?
Let's hope so. Alright, so going down, I mean, it's easy peasy for the most part.
I'm not using hill descent control. I refuse. It's actually, you know what? I would use it if I felt like if the snow was here, because that would be working better than my foot in terms of doling out the ABS around to make sure everything's rolling the right way.
Oh my God! If the snow was here, dude, this difficulty would go up tremendously.
It would indeed. I did slide a little bit there.
Well, these Scorpions are really all-season tires.
Yeah,
right?
they're not off-roading tires. This would be a pretty. That's
there
a tire
you are.
up. There
you go.
Hey, got a tire up. Yeah, these tires are fine on this, but they are much happier doing 4-season style testing. The tire I'd put on here would be like a KO2, and that would kill everything that this thing's capable of going over. Or the equivalent. And there's plenty of other tires out there that would be the equivalent.
Alright, dude, well, let me show you how the big beast handles this.
Dude, you're on.
Okay, so the Grand Cherokee did okay. Pretty okay. A little bit harsh on those higher suspension
it stands on its tippy toes for sure. This one was far more mellow on the light section, but now we're doing the harder section, which does require a lot more articulation.
Yes.
And this thing is huge.
You know what I'm glad? I'm glad this is not the Series 3 on 22s. That would be, you know, not as good off-road. This is the Series 1. A little bit lower on the price range, and also has the 20s.
This thing's $90-something thousand.
It's lower on the pricing range.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna try the same line you took.
That is a challenging line because there's a breakover issue over there in the middle. But I think you'll be okay. We're pretty high up in the air.
By the way, you know you can engage your massaging feature on your seat.
Yeah, I know. Right now I'm doing the heat and adding some extra lumbar. And yeah, I was gonna name my seat. It's so nice to me.
So I'm gonna go extra slow because I am worried about certain, you know, clearance problems. Well, not problems, my clearances.
I don't think you're having any problems.
I never touched a thing.
You just lost a little tiny bit of traction. It felt like you may have lifted a wheel for a split second. Oh, finally something harsh in this thing.
Ooh, I just accelerated a smidge. Dude, nothing touched. No skid plate, no chin. My chinny chin remained fine.
And I love how you flipped off the camera too with this whole thing. It's awesome. No.
Maybe
That's
don't
good.
use that.
No, keep it in there. Keep it.
No.
So I would say that it did it did great. I'm not all that surprised. The one thing I will say is that I think that now that this is a new generation of Jeep product, they managed to dial in the suspension much better. And what I'm curious about is to see how the Wagoneer and the other vehicles do that have the air suspension, because I think they're starting to figure it out. I think they're giving it a little bit more give, which helps because you want to keep those wheels planted. And when you're, maximum pressure on the older air suspension, it lifted tires far more frequently, I think, in general, and it also was tighter. This thing is just... Are you in the hill descent?
Oh, yes, I am. And you know what? There's a gear limit transmission selector. So while I'm in 4-low and the hill descent enabled, I can actually use the gear limit selector to increase my speed or decrease my speed.
I'll be honest with you, I don't like hill descent that much, but if this were icy or snowy in patches, I might consider using it.
All right, I think I'm going to try the same line you did once again.
Okay, well, this is where I lifted a wheel just a little bit further down.
Okay. So
and I think you might as well. Well,
you know what? I'm going to slow down.
Okay, take it down to 1 mile per hour?
0.6.
Okay, we're flying.
How's my breakover?
From this side, you look okay. Yeah, you're good. Definitely go slow.
Oh, my rear tire is in the air, dude.
Yeah, so our right rear tire is in the air, just like the other one. Oh yeah, it's even more in the air now.
Ooh, doggy!
It looks like it's about between 6 and 8 inches off the ground here.
No big deal.
No big deal. And what happened is that it's still turning, and
Well, because my front end is in Utah and my rear seats are in Colorado.
seriously, this thing is really long. But would you not agree? And this is something that I noticed immediately when I snuck off and drove it. It drives smaller than it is.
I would agree, actually, because the hood is not imposing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the greenhouse is pretty good.
Lots of glass.
Yeah, it doesn't feel, because we just had the AT4, the GMC Yukon,
Yes.
which I loved. It was great, but this one drives a little smaller than that one, yet this one is easily about, the same size.
Absolutely, I would agree.
Yeah, interesting.
And actually, the mirrors, the visibility is pretty good in this.
These kind of look like Ram mirrors to me.
Kind of, they're chunky, they're big. I like that.
Yeah, I do like that too.
All right, dude. So that's how you do it on the Grand Wagoneer. I think we need to find a harder terrain for this.
Yes, we do need something more challenging for this in the future. But I will say this: both of these vehicles are equipped with V8s. It's probably one of the few things they have in common, other than the fact they're built by Jeep. And I would say that they both have no problem finding torque, no problem finding traction, despite the fact they both have kind of street-biased tires.
Yeah,
right?
I would agree. Absolutely. The traction was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, these things are pretty damn remarkable so far.
I am amazed. So maybe, I'll concede, Nathan, maybe this does have Jeep DNA for off-roading.
Oh, I can show you. I can show you on camera where its Jeep DNA truly is.
All right, please show me.
Nathan, Stellantis is bringing back a classic name in this brand new interpretation, the Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer. And when I was in New York at the initial launch event, that's all they talked about, the Grand Wagoneer.
Yeah, they didn't mention Jeep, did they?
No.
Interesting, because they even say it's not Jeep. There's nothing written on here that says Jeep. Oh, yes?
What?
Follow my finger.
What?
That says Jeep right there. Wait, there's more. For a vehicle that doesn't have Jeep on it, it certainly has it here on the windshield. Oh, and by the way, right here under the mirror. And follow over here. It takes a while to walk back here because this thing is ridiculously long. Boop, Jeep. The point is that this is a Jeep. No matter what they want to paint it as, it is a Jeep. And because of that, you already know that it has off-road capability, which we just proved with street tires, basically. It's very capable, and I'm looking forward to pushing it to its limits. But at the end of the day, this is a Jeep Grand Wagoneer.
You know what? I agree with you completely, because where do you have to go to configure one of these? Jeep.com/Wagoneer. Where do you go to buy one of these? Your local Jeep dealership and a special area for Wagoneer.
Exactamundo!